After recently losing over 20 pounds with the vast majority of it coming from body fat, there were certain foods that I know helped me the most with my body recomposition journey. And a few years ago, I shared the 10 things that I would eat if I were looking to achieve a weight loss goal, and a lot of them are still great and still applicable, but I wanted to give a little update after going through my own weight loss journey on the 10 foods that I would prioritize the most with the specific goal of body fat loss. Let's dive into it. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance, and today's video is sponsored by Element. More on them in a bit. Okay, so last time I mentioned things like cooking fat, herbs, spices, onions, garlic, and salt, and all of those are still very important, especially when looking to achieve a long-lasting weight loss goal, because these items help to prevent food fatigue. They add flavor, they add variety, and it just makes the meals more exciting. Therefore, it makes it so you're much more likely to maintain your progress because you're actually enjoying your food. So these foods still apply, but they also are foods that most people generally have in their kitchen at all times. So let's assume that these are already in your kitchen and we know that these are important. Okay, so now let's dive into the list, which I am balancing very carefully for number 1 so they don't crash all over the place. And that first one is eggs. Eggs were on my list from 2022 and they remain on my list for 2024 because eggs are one of the absolutely most satiating foods you could possibly eat. There have been studies done comparing eggs to other food items like oatmeal and bagels and found that they are vastly more satiating than other foods, which means they're much more likely to make you feel full, satisfied, and not have hunger or cravings, which obviously would work against a weight loss goal. Now, each egg is rich in protein and fat that help to raise our satiety hormones, peptide YY, and CCK, but in order to actually eat enough, you need to eat quite a few eggs. So usually I combine these with cottage cheese to help bump up the overall protein content. But typically I'm going to be having 3 eggs. They're so incredibly versatile. You can use them in a lot of different recipes. Scrambled eggs is one of my favorite, but you can make egg bites, omelets, frittatas, or you could put them into recipes like with my protein pancakes or protein waffles. Now we eat a lot of eggs in our house, so we have backyard chickens. But even if you don't have your own chickens, eggs are still one of the least expensive protein options, even with the rising price of eggs. So given the versatility, also the nutrient density of eggs, so incredibly rich in important nutrients like choline, as well as vitamin K2, which is important for both bone and heart health. For all of those reasons, eggs are number 1 on my list, which is why we have a huge tower of it at all times. And I'm gonna go put these back. Okay, so number 2 is skyr, which ironically, I just ran out of skyr because I started to make my own Greek yogurt again, which I have a new method of how I'm making it that I love so much more. I might share a video on that soon. This is Greek yogurt, but Greek yogurt and skyr are both very similar. Both Greek yogurt and skyr, the unsweetened variety, are very high in protein, but skyr tends to be a little bit higher. So if I'm buying yogurt from the grocery store, I'm going to buy skyr because protein is that number 1 most important food item for helping to prevent hunger and cravings. It also is crucial for actually preventing muscle loss. And when we're able to maintain muscle during the weight loss process, it makes it so that we're not going to have that dip in metabolism, which is what happens with the typical just calorie restriction, eat less, move more state, and why with that more old school method, people have to keep eating less and less and less in order to achieve or maintain their goals. When we're actually eating enough protein, it not only helps to make us feel full and satisfied, which just feels so much better than feeling hungry all the time, but it also helps to keep our metabolism healthy and strong, and therefore makes it so you don't have to keep eating less and less and less in order to achieve a weight loss goal. So I love skyr for a really fast and easy high protein option. You only need about 1 1/4 cup of skyr to get about 30 grams of complete protein. Greek yogurt is also great, but you do need about 1.5 cups to get about 30 grams of complete protein. I will likely be switching back to making Greek yogurt really because it is so much more cost effective, but both options, skyr and Greek yogurt, are fantastic. Just make sure with either that you are getting the full fat variety, not only because it tastes so much better, but also because the fat component is where a lot of the nutrients actually live. Specifically vitamin K2, which is one that's hard to get from other foods, and we need it for both bone and heart health. And if you're concerned about full fat not working for a weight loss goal, it's actually been found to be better than the low fat variety for that purpose. Likely because it is rich in both protein and fat to help keep us full and satisfied and prevent snacking and cravings. Number 3, lemons. Now this is another one we eat a lot of, and we live in Southern California, so we're able to have a lemon tree, which thank God, because lemons can be very expensive as well, and we have a lot of them. This one's seen better days, but I specifically like the Meyer lemons, although really this applies to all lemons. Lemons on their own have a lot of really great blood sugar stabilizing perks. They're actually similar to apple cider vinegar in the blood sugar stabilizing benefits, and when we have more stable blood sugar levels, it helps prevent that blood sugar crash. Blood sugar crashes are what lead to that instant state of hunger where we just need to eat something right away. And usually we're going to be craving some type of sugar or starchier foods. So I use lemon in everything. I use it in our salad dressing. I use it in our sparkling water. I'll use it in the marinade I use for our kale salad. Like, I just use a ton of lemons. Number 4 should not come as a surprise to any of you guys, but it is cottage cheese. This is still one of my all-time favorites. Cottage cheese is incredibly high in protein. You get about 30 grams of complete protein with roughly 1¼ cup. And given that protein is so important for a weight loss and body fat loss goal, this can be a game changer. Also because you don't have to cook it. So this is one of my favorites to have as a lunch item for a really fast and easy lunch. There's so many ways to use and make cottage cheese. My personal favorite is making it into like a cottage cheese bowl, which I recently shared my absolutely viral cottage cheese recipe. If you want to check it out, I'll have it linked right up here. And given that I'm a new mom and time is extra short, having something that's really fast and easy to make as a lunch is a game changer for me, and it provides a good base for a lot of different types of meals. Now, something else that's been a huge part of my life for the last few years is today's sponsor, Element. Element is an amazing electrolyte company that was specifically created with athletes, whole food eating, and intermittent fasting in mind. It actually contains the sodium, magnesium, and potassium to help replace lost electrolytes, all without having any sugar, which is why I love using at least one packet of Element every single day because my diet is personally minimally processed as well. I find that on days when I forget Element, which is honestly quite rare because it's such a part of my routine now, but on the days that I do forget to take it, I feel so much lower in energy, especially around that 3 p.m. time. And once I take Element, I just feel instantly better. Element also tastes amazing. The grapefruit salt is my favorite. It is so yummy, especially now that it's becoming summer. Element also just came out with Element Sparkling, which is their 16-ounce can of sparkling electrolyte water. It's so tasty and it's so perfect now that the weather's warming up to have something just refreshing and cold and bubbly and delicious, and that actually has electrolytes for the body. Right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any drink mix purchase. That's 8 single-serve packets free with any Element drink mix order. This is a great way to test out all 8 flavors, so you can get yours at drinkelement.com/autumn. This is only available through my link, so make sure to check out drinklmnt.com/autumn. The link will also be in the description down below. Okay, next up we have another item that was on the 2022 list, and that's tomatoes. Really, tomatoes in every single form, whether it be raw or in a canned form. I rely so heavily on tomatoes. Now, tomatoes are not high in protein, they're not high in fat, and they aren't really high in fiber. They have a bit, but not really a huge amount. So they don't really contribute a ton in that satiety sense, but what they do contribute to is variety and flavor. Because let me tell you, tomatoes are incredibly versatile. And when creating this top 10 list, I wanted to focus on the foods that I found the most important. And having flavor variety and being able to transform your food into a ton of different meals is crucial for maintaining your results. And tomatoes are unique because they add this sense of umami to meals. It's kind of like that meaty, textury experience, and it helps to just make that meal feel complete. And tomatoes can be a main feature, like with bolognese, which takes just typical ground beef and transforms it into so much, like that has been my absolute go-to meal lately, honestly. So obsessed with it. Or it can be used in the raw form as more of a complementary feature, like with a caprese salad, or it can be used in really tiny concentrated amounts, but really contribute greatly to the meal, like with tomato paste in soups or stews. I honestly think I had at least one tomato in some type of form every single day during my postpartum weight loss journey. Which, speaking of bolognese, we have the next one, which is ground beef. Ground beef, or really just beef in general, is rated as one of the most satiating foods you could eat, so it's really great at helping to make you feel full and satisfied and prevent hunger and cravings, which makes achieving goals so much easier. It's also incredibly versatile and one of the less expensive cuts. Throughout my postpartum weight loss journey, I made so many meals with ground beef. I made my Guinness meatballs, which are amazing. I made regular Italian meatballs. I made mini meatloafs, obviously bolognese, and also smash burgers. Like, so many ways to take the humble ground beef and transform it into amazing, delicious meals. Plus, ground beef, or just beef in general, is very nutrient dense. It's really rich in choline and heme iron, which is the type of iron that we're actually really able to absorb and use as iron. B12, zinc, there's so many things that ground beef is really rich in. And I know some of you might be concerned with the heart health concerns of red meat, but I think it's important to note that a lot of those thoughts have really been disproven. I did a whole video talking about the updated research on red meat specifically. If you are concerned about that, I highly recommend you check it out. I'll have it linked right up here. Okay, next up we have my protein powder. If you followed my postpartum weight loss journey, you know that I absolutely absolutely lived off of my protein waffles. Protein waffles feel like such a treat, or really protein pancakes as well, but they were perfectly in line with my postpartum weight loss goals. In fact, I still eat them to this day. Still am not tired of them. And I see so many people within the community who are making them every single day as well and love them. They're really convenient, they're packed with protein, and they just taste great. But my protein powder is obviously a key component of that recipe, because when I developed my protein powder, I specifically developed it to taste great in recipes. A lot of other protein powders are made to just be had on their own, so they're really overly flavorful. They taste terrible in like smoothies or protein waffles, and they just taste really artificial. So I wanted to develop a high quality protein powder that tastes great in recipes, which is how I personally use protein powder. Plus, my protein powder is 0 sugar. It uses 100% whey protein isolate, which is the lowest lactose form of whey, making it the best whey option for those who are lactose intolerant. Overall, it tastes great, it's easy to use, and it makes amazing recipes. And each bag actually comes with a free download of 10 recipes as well. So if you guys haven't tried out my protein powder, I'll have it linked down description below, as well as popping up here somewhere, or you can find it on my website at autumnlnutrition.shop. Next up, we have kale, as well as a rogue cilantro leaf that just fell. I was off the kale bandwagon for a while. I was just kind of tired of it. But for some reason during my postpartum weight loss journey, I just couldn't get enough of kale. Kale is very low glycemic load, which means it has essentially 0 impact on blood sugar levels, and therefore is a great option to help stabilize blood sugar levels. It is also nutrient dense in micronutrients. I also like that kale is a much more hearty type of green. So unlike other leafy greens like romaine or spinach, where you really can't make a big batch of it and have it last for the week, I would make a big batch of kale salad and have it for multiple days, and it was still just as good like 3 days later as it was the day that I made it. And that's because it is so hearty that it actually tastes better the longer it's been marinating. Okay, number 9 is zucchini, and I actually don't have any of this on hand because we just used it all up last night, but we use zucchini so much that in my garden currently I'm growing some zucchini to hopefully just get a lot of it. Zucchini is a great low glycemic load alternative to pasta. And during a weight loss journey and a body fat loss journey, I found that it is best to stick to mostly low glycemic load carbohydrates, because they are going to be the most nutrient dense and also have the lowest impact on blood sugar levels, which means it's a lot easier to get satisfied from those foods without eating beyond the body's needs. Zucchini is also very versatile and takes on pretty much any flavor that you add to it. Obviously, there's the classic zucchini zoodles, which is like the alternative to spaghetti. But one of my favorite ways to use zucchini is to take a potato peeler to it and make those thin slices and use it to make lasagna. There's another recipe that I shared that is absolutely delicious. It's so good. I'll also have it linked right up here if you want to check that out. Okay, number 10 is broccoli and cauliflower. Now I'm lumping these together because they're in the same family. They're both from the brassica family, and they're both very low glycemic load and also very versatile. I mean, you can do so many different things with cauliflower alone. Like I would make cauliflower nachos, which is actually a recipe coming soon in my upcoming 6-week summer meal plan, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Now I say top 10 foods because it's great to have core ingredients to work our way back to, but honestly, I found to help prevent food fatigue, it is best to find some type of variety with your meals, including the ingredients that you use. This makes it so that you can still stay excited about your foods, enjoy the meals, and not get tired of it, and therefore maintain that long-term success. So if you are looking for some other high protein delicious meal ideas, you can check that out with this video next. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. I come out with new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.